Today I was inspired by a UStream recording by Dede Williams, Inkwell, and she was demonstrating her slap and drag method. I'm going to use the DecoArts fluid acrylics, and what you do is you're going to spray on a craft mat or a slick surface, 2 or 3 colors, and then a little spritz of water, and then you're going to slap your paper and kind of drag it, and it gives you a watercolor effect. This one is lime, yellow, and orange, and I'm going to do that while I still have that matte with those colors. You do want to be careful about not mixing it too much or you'll end up getting mud. I added a little bit of a blue, and you can see here where it's a little muddy, and so I'm spraying back some blue on top of some of that yellow. And I'm using my little folded cardstock to keep the other half of the card clean. I do wish I had Mod Podge or sealed it with some gel medium, since this is such a wet technique. Really like this one because it left some of the white showing. You get a watercolor effect. This is just a base coat that I'm putting on these cards, and then I'm going to embellish them. I might jelly print a layer on them. You do want to make sure you clean the tips before you put them up, since this is an acrylic. You don't want to have it dry up in the nozzle. This is a magenta, orange, red, and yellow, which I really like. That gives you get that coral color. Now these do dry permanent, so they're not going to reactivate when you go in with your next layers if you're using a wet medium to embellish. This was just kind of a rainbow. Got a little bit of mud in the corner. And then I'm just wiping down the mat when I'm going to change, just to kind of reduce some of that chance of getting the mud. Now I'm using some of the white to get more of a pastel. I was trying to get kind of a more of an ocean color. I still ended up with too much green. So you'll see that this next time I'm going to use way more white to lighten that paint. This technique sort of reminds me of the alcohol inks on the Yupo paper, but this is Strathmore mixed media weight, almost like a watercolor weight paper. Alright, so I ended up with 11 cards, and one of the things I did learn with this method is I probably needed to spread my paint in a little bit of a wider area since I had this larger card side. If I had smaller size like Dede had when she was doing it on her stream, it might have been fine, but I needed to spread it out. It is a mess. You get some overspray, so a little protector around your area might be a good thing. The other thing that I've decided in using this with a more wet medium than the jelly plate where this didn't really get dirty is I think I've decided that I'm going to make a new one or coat this one, but give it a real good coat both inside and outside, so I'll probably make another one of the gel medium like Mod Podge, just so that this is waterproof, because this got wet and then I was afraid that it was going to get on the back side of the cards. I have to say, for the most part, the back, there's a little bit of splatter every once in a while, but for the most part the cards stayed clean. Like there's where one got on a stain, but for the most part they stayed clean. So let me zoom in and I'll show you what I ended up with. And this is just a base. The plan is to possibly jelly print over a couple of these, a layer, probably just a single layer, maybe a metallic layer, add scrapbook papers and other ephemera, kind of just mix media and turn them into gift cards, blank greeting cards. So I really liked the blue and the lime green combinations I was able to get. This one I probably over swiped, so it's very blended, whereas this one, it's probably less swipe and there's more white space. Same with this one. I really like this one. It has a kind of a watercolor effect. This one is pretty blended, but I think it'll make a good base for a jelly print on top of it, just like a single layer. And this one again, I added some white just to add some interest, some of the white spray. I didn't use any of the black spray. This is one of my favorite, but I really like this color combination, the orange, the pink, and the yellow, because you get that salmon color in there. And I think this one turned out real pretty. This one's the yellow and the orange, and with just a touch of green. So again, I think like if I added a scrapbook paper over here and kept this open, that could be really pretty. This one's a little bit more muddied because it got over smeared and the green and the orange just kind of did, so I did spray some yellow and some orange back on top of it. But by the time it gets covered with another layers, I don't think that will be a problem. But this will be definitely one where I won't mind covering up more of it. Here's a kind of a red and a blue combination with the pink and kind of purple. It did get a little muddy right in here, but again, it's a good one to do a cover. These, I actually think this one was overworked again, mixed too much, but I think with another layer over it could be pretty. Maybe a pop of black in the jelly print where the colors pop through the black. This one I actually like. It almost reminds me of a watercolor of like the ocean. It's real soft. It does have some browns in it, but again, it doesn't bother me because it reminds me more like of the sand. But it definitely will need something, some paper or something added to it. Alright, so this is part 1, and I have 11 cards. And so in part 2, what I'll do is I'll come back in and jelly print on top of some of them, let that dry, and then lay in some papers and some other ephemera. Thanks for watching.